The anti-MLM movement is helping participants caught in these pyramid schemes to exit. And then once they exit, they start healing, they're recovering, and they find their voice and they want to speak out. They want to help others exit too. And so many people are doing it in their own ways. Some people are making content, some are forwarding information to anti-MLM content creators, and some want to tell their story. And however they choose to tell their story, there's so many of us here to help amplify your story. And this is somebody who is going to remain anonymous, but I've been in communication with them on Instagram in my DMs, and they decided this was the time they wanted to share their story. And I am honored to share their story with you today. I've been involved in network marketing since 2014 as a 24-year-old with consumer debt, an abundance of time, and the desire to earn more and advance in life. There are many nuances and double-edged swords in my story with MLM. However, ultimately, in 2025, I have quit MLM and want to share my experience. 2014 to 2023, Beachbody, relatively good experience, lost 35 pounds, consistent with workouts, improved my nutrition, earned a substantial income that allowed me to pay off consumer debt, do upgrades and renovations to my home, traveled, and lived a lifestyle that I strove for. I shopped, traveled, and experienced things I wouldn't have been able to otherwise. In hindsight, I am grateful for Beachbody because it provided me a good, comfortable, and limitless life. There isn't the same guilt associated with Beachbody as there is with TRANONT. With Beachbody, I was providing community and belonging. It felt different than a typical retail MLM. You can tell I still have conflicting feelings and ambivalence. 2023 to 2024, TRANONT, where the chunk of my story and negative experiences take place. I joined TRANONT in the summer of 2023. I had been thinking about quitting MLM, joining another company since the fall of 2021. I joined Modere, but never went public with it. I canceled my account and never sold anything. I retreated to Beachbody until I joined TRANONT. I was questioning everything, as people do when they are thinking about quitting MLM and starting to realize the reality of MLM. Something predictable that happens when one questions MLM is that they move to a new company, thinking it will be different elsewhere, and that the problem isn't the MLM industry, it's a specific company, only to realize that every company is the same. When I joined TRANONT in July 2023, 50% commission, reasonably priced products, free shipping, stackable bonuses. I did extremely well as soon as I went public with it. From my social media presence for a decade, I gained a lot of followers and was trusted. I made $45,000 in 5 months. Then, in August of 2023, commissions went to 25%, unless you were a certain rank. People felt misled, bamboozled, and confused. Corporate told us that a new product was coming. The quote, leaders, end quote, were given the information, training, and exclusive access to it months before it was released, under the guide of being in a test group. They created a sense of, quote, FOMO, end quote, and excitement and hype around the product. In September, the compensation plan changed 180 degrees. We were told that there were, quote, enhancements, end quote, coming. Obviously, they presented it as a positive, 10% commission, which was actually about 3%. When the new product was released, corporate compared it to Ozempic and other semaglutides. We were all crying with excitement for what it would do for our bank accounts. The new changes in the comp plan came into effect October 1st. From 50% commission, which was about 30% with the conversion, from 50% customer points to Canadian currency, went to about 3% commission. I would earn $3 off a $100 bottle of collagen. Shipping went from free to $16. Products increased in price and decreased in volume, making it harder to sell and earn. Back orders, shipping delays, lost packages, and overcharging, double charging was taking place. They grew too fast for their IT capacity. It was a nightmare. The new product created such a high demand that it sold out almost all our products because more eyes were coming to our whole catalog. Even though they were sold out with expected restock months away, they continued to sell product they did not have. People were paying for products they wouldn't receive for months. Every time there was a new product launch, leaders would have access to it before everyone else. It turned into, quote, "We know something you don't know," end quote, and was asinine. It wasn't encouraging. It pissed me off. We were expected and pressured to attend events all over the USA and Canada. I justified it because I was making good money. Others in my downline weren't making money, but were spending money to attend events. Also, in the bigger team I was on, I would think, quote, "How can they afford this?" end quote, but then dismissed it. My income dropped from $16,000 months to $2,000 or less. It was stressful, worsened my anxiety, and I felt powerless. The leaders had an unfair advantage with their access to and influence on corporate. The leaders were seen as celebrity and larger than life figures. My upline had to spend $10,000 one month on product to rank advance. She never earned that rank again. But at events, she was regarded as a powerhouse leader and admired by the masses. I knew different. Her upline was making $150,000 a month and flaunting her Louis Vuitton and Christian Louboutins. I don't know how to say that word, sorry. And we were all making peanuts, spending more than we were making. I spent thousands on hotels, tickets, flights, incidentals, etc., going to these events. I was invited to an, quote, exclusive, end quote, retreat, which would cost me probably $4,000. I said I couldn't go. I was bullied, harassed, pressured by my upline and her upline. I used my husband as a scapegoat to deflect the decision I made. I told her I would check in with my husband to see what he said. She gaslit me and said, quote, "I hope your husband is supportive of you," end quote. I was furious. My husband didn't care about me going to these events and never tried to stop me, but I was spending more than I was making and I was disgruntled. Corporate would give us product info, then deny it and ask where we got the info from. They claimed they never compared the new product to Ozempic. They claimed they never told us liquid collagen absorbs more than powder. We exclusively sold liquid, but then they released a powder, so they denied, saying it's less absorbable. From the decisions corporate made and their lies and gaslighting, they thought we were all blind sheep, would believe anything they said, would continue to spend all our money and not question anything. It was asinine. To me, it meant they didn't respect us. One of the final straws was the ability to, quote, earn, end quote, a trip to Cabo. We had to buy the equivalent in volume of $600 worth of product 4 months in a row. $2,400 in product for a 4-day trip. Wow. They really think we are stupid. Once people complained, they backtracked and said it could be bought by us or sold to customers to qualify. It happened many times where they would introduce something, it would be questioned, then they would treat and change their minds. Seeing how much they could push us and get away with. Horrible businessmen and practices. When I left, my upline threatened to sue me and told me people were watching me. I didn't sleep for months prior to quitting, and although I had threats to sue me, I was sleeping better, although not great. It was a relief to quit. I'm a mental health therapist. I finally realized that my upline's upline, who was making $150,000 a month, would never be hired in the job I have. I remembered who I was. Why was I letting a waitress bully and intimidate me? Only in MLM would a waitress have the gall and audacity to question someone's profession and their choices regarding same. I joined another MLM, then fizzled out after a few months. I am done. For good. And happy. I am healing now. MLM brings out the worst in people, including me. It made me greedy, materialistic, thought I was better than lower ranking people, etc. It felt gross, and I am happier now that I am done. Isn't that an incredible letter? This could be about any multi-level marketing company too. We've seen this with Mon8 in particular, where they would make claims about shampoo being the #1 best-selling hair care company in the world. Corporate does say that, but it goes on in private Facebook groups. But they don't publish it on their websites. Then they can deny it and just blame the representatives. It's the same as when I was in Mon8 and they had this, they were quoting Harvard. There was some Harvard laboratory that said Monat was the best shampoo, something like that. And as soon as it was revealed that that never happened, everybody just denied that, you know, we had never told you this. And I remember when I was in Monat, but you did, because I modeled your behavior. I duplicated your presentation, and now you're denying it. Of course, I didn't exit right away. Another thing is the changes to the compensation plan, increasing products, being told that, you know, these changes are for your benefit. I see similarities with this story and Sensi. I see similarities with this story and all multi-level marketing companies. And I bet if you're in a multi-level marketing company, you do too. I want to thank everybody who sends anti-MLM content creators information, and for the growing anti-MLM movement that is enabling people to wake up and exit. And you can see by this particular person's email how strong and intelligent people are. People want to do the right thing. And multi-level marketing companies are going to have a force to deal with as more and more participants wake up, get out, and they don't want anything to do with multi-level marketing again. Some people are going to be making YouTube videos like me. Some people are going to be sending in stories to be shared, but this is a force to be reckoned with. People want to do the right thing. It's so refreshing when there's accountability. It makes things okay. We got to be there for each other. Multi-level marketing doesn't care who you are, what you look like, what you believe in. It will get its hooks into you, and it will turn you into the worst version of yourself. It has to, because that's how these things work. Underneath that cult identity, all that indoctrination, all that crap, all that conditioning that we go through are our true selves. We're always there, and more people are waking up, they're getting out, and we're all here to support each other. It might take you a few multi-level marketing companies to realize what these things are, and that's okay. But when you're ready, when you get out, we're going to be here for you. There was never anything wrong with your mindset. There's nothing that is broken about you that you have to work so hard to fix, so then you can bust through some limiting belief to attain financial freedom. This is just that conditioning crap that is MLM. It's meant to distract you from looking at the scam that you're in. It's just a trap. And it's so effective that it really preys on good people and our willingness to accept responsibility for where we're at in our life, but not to allocate responsibility to the people that are creating these traps and lying to you. Look out as more and more people start to wake up. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you so much for your comments, and I'll see you in the next video.